What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and also welcome back to the very final day of the Planet Zoo beta. So we've only got maybe an hour left before it's supposed to close, and I wanted to kind of come in and show off what I was able to get done in my zoo, which wasn't a lot, honestly. I spent a lot of time just trying to learn how the game is actually going to work, because even though it's based off of Planet Coaster, which you would think I would be very, very good at this, there was just glitches and bugs and problems that just kept me from being able to build anything really that well. I'm not a huge fan of franchise mode, to be honest, and especially since, you know, it's hard to build anything in franchise mode when you have no money. And that is due to bugs that would cause you to lose money. So, no matter what you did, you eventually would just start losing money. So I spent like 2 or 3 days of my game time in this just trying to get out of debt so I could actually build something. And it's kind of a waste of time, and unfortunately it wasn't ever fixed. But I'm not going to rant about that today. I'm actually saving all of my rants about the Planet Zoo beta and all my concerns and everything for a different video, which will be my final thoughts about the beta. Today, what I wanted to come in and do is just kind of show off what I was able to get done. So I had a start to an entrance here that you guys really haven't seen much of. And again, it was just a start and me kind of playing around here. I never got to finish this, unfortunately. We don't have a whole lot of like pieces and stuff that we can use to actually make some interesting different kinds of designs and stuff. I was really hoping for like getting almost all the construction pieces, but I think a lot of the construction pieces that we were supposed to get aren't actually in the beta, so that kind of sucks. But I did do what I could. I did what I could with what I had to work with and the money and stuff that I had to work with. So I couldn't go into too much detail because I kept going into debt. But you can even see I don't even have half of it even done yet. I didn't even do the other side here. So I got a bunch of protesters coming in and out of the park, probably because most of my animals have died after the last patch. I'm sorry, I'm being salty. I'm salty for a reason, but that's beside the point. Alright, so this is kind of a start that I was kind of working with for a general entry plaza in my park. I was kind of doing this thing kind of like St. Louis Zoo, where it's got this neat little walkway out through there. So I built this, and then I started working on some of the actual exhibits and stuff. We also have this really cool lake out here, which I think could be bigger, probably. And once we actually get our hands on the full game release, and I can actually play in sandbox mode where I don't have to worry about going into debt and building stuff, I can actually expand out and plan and do all these other stuff. It's really hard to plan stuff out, because first I had to even unlock a lot of the stuff that I needed to even build what I needed to build, and the mechanic research doesn't really work. So yeah, lots of issues. But so we're gonna kind of take a look around, just kind of what I was doing. What you can see, obviously you can see in the background on the other side of the lake is our reptile house and insect house, which we'll get to in a minute. That was going to be the main thing. Apparently I also didn't flush this out very well with, you have to paint the terrain underneath of these to get the tall grass to go away. Otherwise it just looks like everything's kind of grown up and our maintenance workers aren't doing their job. But I made this out of, I think it was concrete pieces, I think is what I used here. Or plaster or something, just to try to get like a nice circular kind of plaza here. And then I put our paths underneath of this, and I wish I could have fleshed this out a little bit better. And I wish we had more time. I do, because I had a lot of plans, and I guess most of those plans are just gonna have to wait until the actual full game release. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna take one last quick look around at all of our animals to kind of say goodbye, because there's just not enough time left to actually do anything. So we are going to take a look here. So the first exhibit over here, this is what I was kind of doing a Grizzly Ridge kind of thing off of St. Louis Zoo. Unfortunately, Stan Wolf decided to do the same thing, and he took the name. So I didn't want people to say, oh, you're stealing from Stan Wolf. Well, technically I'm stealing from St. Louis Zoo, but that's beside the point. So since he used that, I decided to come up with a different kind of idea. So I was like, oh, let's do the American Wilds. So My original thoughts for all of this are on this side of the park to be kind of North American themed. And we don't have a whole lot of animals that are North American themed in the beta. In fact, I don't even know if we have a whole lot of North American animals that's going to be in the full game. But we did have 3 bears that I was able to use, and I hated wasting all my time doing just bear exhibits too. But I really wanted to kind of do something in this area over here. It's a shame we can't put all the bears into one exhibit. That would have been kind of cool, but it doesn't work because I accidentally put one of my my black bears in with the grizzlies. I don't even know how it happened, but somehow it happened, and oh yeah, they like insta killed him. So grizzlies and black bears don't like each other at all. Besides the point that, you know, your animals have to also enjoy their surroundings, so they have to have a certain kind of terrain and everything for them, and all the bears are a little different. Here you see the Formosan brown or black bear. Now, technically, these aren't North American bears, but these were the closest things we had to black bears in being, because there are black bears in North America. You can see Smokey the Bear, for example, and it would have been nice if we had some that were kind of more North American. So I just decided to use these, and we'll just say they are that. So, oh look, zookeepers are finally doing their jobs that they didn't do the entire time during the beta. Another thing I couldn't do is I could never get these guys to mate either. The only ones I could get to mate was my brown bears, and my wolves, and well, my cats did as well. But these guys and my grizzlies just would not mate no matter what. I could not figure it out. So yeah, it is what it is. So for each of these exhibits, I had to do 3 different bear exhibits, and I tried to do each exhibit somewhat different. So this one was done with an overhead path where the bears can walk underneath of the people onto each side, and it gave them a lot more room and kind of gave a nice start here to our ridge. And then we're going to go down here into this area down here, and the next area here, you guys have seen this, you guys love this. This is probably one of the best things I've ever done, and that was my grizzly bear exhibit, which actually hit the top page. I was like #1 on the front page for like a week almost, and I couldn't believe it. It's the first time I've ever had anything on the Steam Workshop even go that high. So I've had lots of like great ratings and stuff, and lots of great things on the workshop before, especially with Planet Coaster. But my grizzly exhibit, for some odd reason, just went top, and I don't even know how. Some of you guys out there did have some problems with it, and I don't understand how or what was going on and why you guys had problems. One person said a piece of the barrier was missing, so one of the bears got out. Another person said their bears wouldn't enter the main enclosure and they starved to death. I think a lot of it came down to how some of you were placing it, and that you were placing it wrong. So I don't know if you guys had ever played Planet Coaster or not, but I took this same exact exhibit, the same one that's on the workshop, and I placed it down in 3 different zoos, and it worked every single time with no problem. So I don't understand. I did have a problem when I redid my black bear exhibit. I did have a problem where they wouldn't actually enter into the main part, and I think it had to do with maybe I placed it a little too low. But all I had to do was just lower the rocks here, or raise the rocks a little bit to give them more of an entryway in there. If you looked at, there's a thing that you can go into in the heat maps that can tell you where the animals can go. You just click on the animal and it shows you what terrain they can use and where. And I used that and was like, well, for some odd reason they're not getting out of the cave. So I raised a few rocks, moved a few rocks around, and that was it. So I think this one I may have screwed up on myself. But all of the problems that I think people were having with my grizzly bear exhibit that's on the workshop, I think was due to just placing it wrong, honestly. But this one I got right 3 times, so I don't know. We'll chalk it up to being the game's still in beta. So, and we'll deal with that. I wish my grizzlies had mated. I know some people out there were able to get them to mate because there were grizzlies being sold on the workshop. So, not that many though. So I think a lot of people had issues with it. I know there were a few people complaining on Reddit that they couldn't get them to work. Some people had said what you need to do was make the exhibit bigger. And I was like, I mean, sure, we'll try it. So one of the things I did the other day was I actually made the exhibit bigger, and it still didn't work. They still didn't want to mate. I went through 6 generations of grizzly bears while playing this game, and not one of them had any cubs. Not one of them. I've researched all the way up. I don't understand. So problems with that. So, and then the people love the grizzlies, though. The grizzlies were the first exhibit I did in here. So we're going to move on over here in the next exhibit. Again, more bears. This one over here this is the brown bears. Now, these guys actually did have cubs. I don't know why. This exhibit isn't that much bigger than the grizzly bear exhibit. It's maybe a little slightly bigger, but... And I tried to do something a little different over here as well. So even though we still have waterfalls and stuff, I did more waterfalls over here with kind of a split level kind of thing. And with a little pond down here. So the bears... The brown bear loves to swim. He looks like a circus bear, doesn't he? I don't know. I think his family died, I think. He's the only brown bear we got left. So, zookeepers not doing their jobs, not feeding the animals, and just... They'll walk into the exhibit and quickly turn around and not ever come back. They will fill the enrichment items, but not the actual food plates. They'll not put food in the plates. They'll put it elsewhere. There's so many issues with the actual maintenance and zookeepers that it pretty much made the game unenjoyable, just about unplayable. So they want you to get like really invested in your animals, but the animals die way too quickly, and they age too fast, and your zookeepers just end up killing them anyway. So, and that really sucks when the market prices in franchise mode for these things are extremely high. So, yeah. Alright, so let's move away from the brown bear. Let's take one last look over here at our wolves. So, last I checked, we only had 2 wolves in the exhibit. We still only have 2. One of them's taking a dump there. This one's got fleas. But yeah, so these are our timber wolves here. The timber wolves were kind of fun to watch. I enjoyed them. I think I could have done better on the exhibit, though. It's an alright exhibit, but I think I could have done better. So once we get into franchise, or once we get into sandbox mode when the actual game comes out, I'm going to try to redo a lot of this and make it 10 times better, where I can actually have more freedom. Same thing over here. We did a backstage area, and with caves and stuff like that. For some odd reason, there's this pit right here that I could never smooth out. I never could figure out why. I tried moving things around. I tried moving rocks around. I tried moving the barriers around. I could never smooth that out. The terrain tools in this game are a lot different than Planet Coaster's. They're similar, but still different, and it just doesn't really work. Where the ones in Planet Coasters seem to be just not a whole... I don't know. There's a different... I can't exactly explain it. But so from there, let's go ahead and move on to my favorites. My favorite animal that I got to play around with, which was the snow leopards. I love the snow leopards. Look at these. Look at those adorable little kitty cats. I love them so much. I really do. Uh-oh. This is what happens when you have 2 adults of the same sex in a exhibit. You end up with these 2 guys fighting. So, I don't know if these are the females or the males, but yeah, either way, they don't like each other too well. So once your kittens grow up, you really need to have them like get them into other exhibits. Oh no! That snow leopard's dead. No. Aww. That's the saddest thing I'll see today. Okay, that makes me sad. Alright, and then we'll go over here to the other side. Again, I put more snow leopards over here on this side as well. Oh, these cubs have grown up as well. So they went from kittens to quite a large animals. Again, this is a whole thing with the aging. The aging needs to be slowed down quite a bit. You just don't get a chance to actually really like observe your animals and get to know them. Like 1 minute they're kittens, 1 minute they're adults, and then the next minute they're dead from old age or starving to death because our maintenance workers don't do their job. But I wish they would climb. It was nice to actually see them right here on this side of the rock, though. So I have seen the kittens up here on this part before, but never the adults. But it's nice to see them climbing on the rocks there and playing. So that's kind of cool. All right, so from there, that's pretty much all I have to show you today, except for we are going to go over here, and I'm going to kind of move a little quicker here. So let's walk around over into this area. So I want to show you what I had gotten done. It's not finished, but this was going to be my reptile house. We don't have a whole lot of all of the animals in the beta, so I wasn't able to like get a whole lot done. In fact, I was only actually able to place down a couple of exhibit animals. I did have some turtles in here the other day, but I decided to redo the building a little bit, and I ended up taking the turtles out and never got a chance to actually come back in and play it. I didn't feel the want to finish my zoo over the last couple of days. Like, I've had some time that I could have went in and played, but I wasn't into it. I honestly did not enjoy the beta. I did at first, and then just problem after problem after problem, and spending so much time trying to get myself out of debt in the game. It was just nerve-wracking and stressful, and it was just not fun. So I am more looking forward to sandbox mode, where I can actually be more creative and really get into building what I want to build without having to wait for so many things, such as money or research and things like that. So it's especially sucks when the research doesn't even work. Like for some odd reason, the vet research was working just fine for me. That was working, but the mechanic research, just that's how you get the building pieces and stuff. It just was not working at all, and you had to I finally got them, but it took years and years and years to get like one thing unlocked, because this stupid mechanic kept quitting and going and doing other things within like a few seconds after putting him where he needed to be. It took forever, but that's neither here nor there. So yes, this was going to be my reptile house / insect house. I was going to put a few shops up front, maybe a balloon shop or something like that, maybe a souvenir shop, an information center is going to be something like that, and then the rest of the building was going to be different exhibits and stuff. I was going to put the gharials in here, the tortoises, and some more exhibits. I was going to do some more of these. The only ones I actually got in here were, and honestly, the animal might be dead because I forgot to put power to these things. I don't see him, but the frog, the giant frog, yeah, he's not in here. He's probably dead. Yeah, oh well. And the giant snake. So we had an anaconda, I think it was, which is probably also dead. So, no, that figures. All right. Yeah, I forgot to put power in there. But yeah, I was gonna flesh out this whole building, and just never got back into the game enough, or the want to play to actually finish it off. But I will do an overhead view here and kind of show you what I was going to do. So I thought this would be, it's a rather large building, but a lot of these reptile houses and stuff kind of are at most of these zoos. This one, I think I modeled this after a building that's at the Cincinnati Zoo, and it's not a perfect recreation of that building, but it's modeled after that. And then I kind of did my own thing with the back of it. So, but this would have turned out pretty cool had I just had more time and more resources to actually put into it. I could have made this look really, really good. So again, we'll try to do something more like this once the actual game is released and we can play in sandbox mode. That being said, now we can actually take another look here at the complete overview of the zoo. I'll give you one last look here as we discuss what might have been. So the idea here of the park was that you enter into the entrance area here, and then we have the American Wilds area over here, which is going to be like a bunch of North American type animals, going into the polar exhibits, which would have been in the cave. See, if we had polar bears and penguins and stuff, I could have put them up there probably too. But the snow leopards were the closest thing we had. So, and then I was going to do a jungle area. This is where I was probably going to put the some chimpanzees or whatever, mandrills, whatever they're called. And I was also going to put the tigers and stuff back in that particular area. Maybe, I don't know, maybe lemurs. Lemurs aren't really jungle, but I don't know. We gotta find a place for those because those were really cool. And then on this side of the zoo was going to be our savannah. So this was going to be the giraffes, the lions, the elephants, the zebras. All of that was going to go on this side of the zoo. And I couldn't get it finished. The want just wasn't there. The enjoyment of the game just wasn't there during the beta. So it's disappointing. I was highly disappointed in the beta for this. And we've only got about a month left before the game actually releases in full, and I don't think it's enough time for them to fix all the problems. A lot of the problems they're not even listening to. I myself personally put 12 bug reports onto their so-called issue tracker that they want us to do, and not a single one of them was ever commented on or even confirmed for that matter. So, and I noticed a lot of the things in the issue tracker weren't confirmed. And, you know, you try to comment on them and you try to go in there and like raise awareness of the issue. And, yeah, it's a horrible bug reporting system. It seems, even when they first made this back in when I was playing Planet Coaster and they switched forums and they started the issue tracker then, I knew that was a bad idea then, but it still is the same. It just doesn't work. So, I don't know. Frontier is really, really bad at bug patches. So they're really bad at updating their games, fixing bugs, solving issues that the players have. They're just horrible at it. And that is one thing that I was really hoping that they had maybe gotten better at before this game. But this game looked a lot better when it was at Gamescom. And what we got in this beta was just, I don't know. They should have gave us sandbox mode. I realized they wanted to test the whole franchise thing. But if they really wanted to get a bunch of more feedback and stuff, they should have gave us sandbox mode too. So a lot of the things that I have problems with, they're not even working with. A lot of the stuff that I am having was, you know, obviously losing money, and there was some kind of bug that they did say they fixed. And a lot of people are having problems with the fertility rates and the animals dying too quick and all this other stuff. And there's just so many things that, and we can't even get a confirmation if they're even like, if it's going to be fixed or if this is what it's going to be like. So we'll just have to wait until November 5th and find out. Until then, guys, thank you so much for joining me on my journey of trying to build a super realistic zoo while only having 2 weeks to do it and not a lot to work with. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Stay tuned in the channel. I'm going to be going back more into City Skylines, Zoo Tycoon 2, and Planet Coaster within the next couple of weeks. And we'll add Planet Zoo to my list of games once it actually releases in full. So as long as it's not this mess that this beta was. So we'll see. In the meantime, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button down below and click on the bell to stay on top of all my new videos and live streaming events here on YouTube. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the names you see on the right for their support through donations, Patreon, and through Twitch subs. If you would like to join their ranks and you are able, you can do so by clicking on any of those links in the video description down below. No worries though, if you don't like giving away money like that, you can still support the channel by purchasing games or anything through Greenman Gaming, through Humble Bundle, or through Amazon by clicking on my links and making your purchase. A little bit of that goes towards me to support the channel. If you still can't get enough of me, you can always check me out live on twitch.tv and stay up to date with me on Twitter as well. Now that's going to be it, but I can't say thank you enough for all your support here on the channel. Wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you later.